Every so often there's a shift in the real estate market. And what ends up happening is a lot of people leave because they're not making enough money. When there's a shift in the real estate market, it becomes even more important to run a profitable real estate business. In this video, I'll be going through my top tips to increase your profitability today. I'm Damon Yudichak. I'm the Bald Profit Prophet. I wrote Profit First for Real Estate Agents. I help top producing real estate agents keep more of the hard-earned commission checks so they can become profit unicorns. In this video, I'm going to talk about tips to increase your profits. You can get a list of my top 10 profits to boost your profitability today by going to the link in the description below. I'd like to take you to a very simple business, a lemonade stand. Now, imagine you've got this young little girl, she's got this bobbed hair, and she's got a sign up front that says, lemonade, 50 cents a cup. So you go up there, and I live in North Carolina, and right now it is burning hot and humid, almost like 90% humidity. And I'm walking around, there's beads of sweat just going, I'm drenched and nasty. And I want something to refresh me from that heat. So I see her and I pull out $1 and say, hey, I would like 2 cups of that lemonade. Now she's got a very simple business. She gets 50 cents for selling a product that she made, which has pretty simple ingredients. It's got lemons, it's got water, and some sugar. In her business, she makes 50 cents, and let's assume that it costs 5 cents for the lemonade and 5 cents for the cup. She keeps 40 cents for every 50 cents cup she sells. This is the simplicity of a business. And if we boil down the simplicity of business to its basic and most critical points, we've got income and we've got expenses. So what we're going to do to talk about boosting profitability is we're really going to go into those 2 areas. And then at the end, I'm going to go over the quickest way for you to know how your business is profitable. First, we're going to get into spending. Let's get into that spending piece. Remember, this little girl, she only spent 10 cents for every 50 cents she made. In our businesses, we want to do the same thing. And typically what I find is that businesses that are unsuccessful have a spending problem. And I say that because they're spending more money than is coming into the business. Now, there does get to a point, if we go back to that lemonade stand, you're going to have to put some money up front to have the lemonade. You can't just sell empty cups and expect people to spend 50 cents for a paper cup. So there are some initial costs that you're going to have to incur. But once your business is up and running, the great thing about a real estate business is you can earn money by sweat equity. So that means you put in the work and you get paid. Kind of like we had when we had a job. We put in a certain amount of time and our bosses gave us a paycheck. We don't have to spend $1 million to buy a McDonald's franchise in order to be successful as real estate agents. But a lot of real estate agents get out of business because they don't make enough money, which part of that reason is a spending problem. So what I want to do is address a couple areas of where you can look to get better results with your spending. Before I get into that spending, I want to talk about something called Parkinson's Law. C. Northcote Parkinson was an economist. His law basically said that our demand for things grows with the supply available to it. What I'd like to do is use a tube of toothpaste to illustrate this for you. Now, when I have my brand new tube of toothpaste, I'm going to put the toothpaste on my toothbrush, and I'm not going to really worry about how much I put on there because after all, I've got a whole tube. And if some of it falls down into the sink, who cares? I've got more where that came from. But what happens when I'm to the end of it and I have to squeeze and squeeze and squeeze and still nothing comes out. Well, eventually, if I squeeze enough, is there any in here? I see it. It's just poking its head out. I may get a little morsel, and then I can brush my teeth. It may not be as good as when I was using this, but at least it'll be something better than not brushing at all. This illustrates that the more we have of something, the quicker we are to use it up. Think about this for a second. If you hire a contractor to build a deck for your house and you tell them, I want it done in 2 months, month one, not a lot's going to happen. 1 week goes by, another week goes by. Now you're at 6 weeks and the contractor just then starts to work. However, and he'll get it done in that 2 months. However, if you change the deadline to where having it done in just 2 weeks, it's going to get done sooner. We know this. We will divert time based on our availability of it. When it comes to our money, we want to think about this Parkinson's law in the same way that we do this tube of toothpaste. We need to think about our spending. If we have a bunch of money in the bank account, there's a good chance that it'll be gone very quickly unless we have a way to prevent ourselves from spending the money. And I see this a lot of times in April. What's so special about April? On the 15th, taxes are due. And people all throughout the year didn't put money aside for their tax bill, and the tax bill comes due. And if they mistakenly didn't set that money aside, they're in for a rude awakening because they spent the tax money. But that's just one example of all the different ways we can spend money. And so when we're thinking about our business finances, one of the best tools we can have is a separate bank account, one for our taxes, and then also one for savings. Because what happens when we're doing really well during the summer months, we're selling a lot of houses, but then we get into the lean months of winter and early spring. We want to make sure that we have enough reserves set aside so that we can weather the cold months of the real estate business. Think about this a little bit further. What would happen if you had 1 month of cash reserves to cover all your business expenses? How much more comfortable would you feel about that? Now, what if you had 3 months of cash reserves? That would put you at a point where you could weather a whole seasonality issue and not have to worry about making ends meet. Let's say you've got a really good marketing system in place that needs you to keep paying for it, and you've got money set aside so that when things get a little bit tight, you can continue to make that investment that gives you a really good return on your marketing dollars. Now we get into these things, the good old credit cards. They can be a very good tool if used properly. However, if they're not used properly, they become a big millstone around our necks. Think about how much credit card companies charge us when we don't pay the balance off each month. One of the things you want to make sure to do is, if you're using credit cards, pay that balance off every month. If you can't afford to pay it off every month, then your business isn't making enough money to keep spending the way you're spending. So in that instance, you're going to have to make a decision on which is more important for you. Do you want to have a profitable business, or do you want to have this and then more credit cards and more credit cards with a huge debt balance? If you find that you've got these things with a large old balance on them, then it's time to stop using them and figure out ways to reduce your spending so that you're not digging a financial hole for yourself. All right, now it's your turn. I want to hear from you one tip you have that has helped you be better with money. Go ahead and leave a comment below and let me know what you've done to improve your finances. Now, when we get in a spending rut, it can be a challenge to get out of it. I realized that there were 2 financial paths that I could travel down. I could travel down an unhealthy financial path, or a healthy financial path. When I was going down one path or the other, I developed momentum here. And when I developed this momentum, I was stuck in some inertia. So if I wanted to change, it really took a little bit of work. There was one surefire way that helped me go from the unhealthy financial path to the healthy financial path. And that was to start saving money. It doesn't have to be a lot of money. The most important thing is that it's consistent. And this is what I did to improve my consistency. Every time I got paid, I put a little bit of money into a savings account for myself. And what ended up happening is it helped me realize that if I was on this unhealthy path, that if I diverted a little bit of that money over to savings, it helped me get onto the healthy financial path. In fact, I will tell you, one of the quickest ways to get control of spending is to start saving. It has been the quickest way that I have been able to move from the unhealthy path to the healthy path. Now that could mean that you just start off with a penny. Although I would recommend you start off with more. But what I found is that when I saved, let's say I saved $100 a month, every month I started to do that, I realized that my business was able to operate without that $100. So that meant that what happens if I tweak it a little bit and maybe next month I save $200? Can my business still operate as well? And that's when it becomes really kind of fun, because I'm starting to play a game. It's like, how lean and mean can I run my business and still maintain my profitability? Because really the best way for me to have a good business is to get more money that I keep for myself. A really quick way to improve the profitability of your business is to look at some of those subscription services that you pay for every month. A lot of companies love to get paid quicker. So what they do is they'll say, if you pay the equivalent of 10 months right now, you're going to get 12 months of services for the price of 10. By doing this, you're going to get the same level of services from those vendors by getting a discount. Granted, you got to be out of a little bit of money now, but just think, if you do that, that's going to help you have more money a little bit later. Before I cover the quickest way for you to determine the profitability of your real estate business, I want to remind you to subscribe to this channel. I put out videos every week to help you build a profitable real estate business so you can be a profit unicorn. There is a way to determine how profitable your business is without you having to hire an accountant or understand financial statements. And it will take you less than 10 minutes a month. Don't believe me? All right. All you need to do is grab a bank statement. Now let's think about this. A bank statement records automatically all of our income and our spending for the month. And as we look at this bank statement, there's a summary section right up, usually on the first page. And it's got a beginning balance. It lets us know the deposits, and it lets us know the withdrawals or checks that have occurred. Now those withdrawals and checks are our spending. The deposits are our income, assuming that all the income came from clients and commissions on all this. So very quickly, automatically, what's happening with our business, money is automatically recorded. And what we can do is we can use this bank statement tool to help us know whether or not we're getting ahead. So let's look at this. The beginning balance is a certain amount. Now when I look at this one, the beginning balance is $2,032. Then I've got deposits of $24,000, and I've got withdrawals of $22,000. That means that my ending balance is $4,032. Now I don't have to do any math right here. I just have to compare two numbers. The first number I'm going to look at is my beginning balance, $2,000. Now I'm going to look at the ending balance, $4,032. Which number is larger? In this example, the ending balance is larger. That means that I brought in more money than I spent. And for us to be successful in business, that's what we want to do. We want to make more money than we spend. In order for our businesses to get better, we want the ending balance on our bank account to be larger than the beginning balance. That means that we're getting ahead. In a very quick way, I didn't even take 10 minutes. I'm able to look at my bank statement and determine whether or not my business was profitable that month. And if I want to take that a step further, I can make a list of the months. I could say, okay, last month, did I get ahead? The month before, did I get ahead? And I could even say, well, you know what? I'm in business to win. I'm in business to make money. So if I have more money at the end of the month than at the beginning, then that means I have a winning month. However, if I have less money at the end of the month than at the beginning of the month, I had a losing month. And what I want to do is make sure that I have more winning months than losing months. In an ideal world, all my months would be winning months. And if I looked at this maybe a year later, maybe I've got a lot more money by following this simple practice of focusing on every month. I want my business to have more money than last month. And then progressively, my business gets better and better. Remember, the key to you getting ahead in business is to make sure that your business makes you more money that you keep month in and month out. If you're looking for more guidance on increasing the profits in your real estate business, then check out my video where I give you a summary of my book, Profit First for Real Estate Agents, and the key takeaways from that book. You can watch that video here.